Good evening, everyone, and welcome to MRC Pontiac. It is great to have so many members of the public with us tonight. And I'd like to, first of all, begin tonight's. We have two meetings. As we know, we have, first of all, our TNO meeting and then our regular public council meeting. We are on Facebook Live, so I'd like to welcome all members of the community that are listening. And just as a reminder that this recording will be posted shortly by tomorrow, probably on our MRC website. It gives me great pleasure tonight to be seated beside Kim Lesage, who you have known as our very talented engineer. And Kim came to my office approximately 2 weeks ago, and with the resignation of Bernard Roy, offered her services as an interim director general. And she is still going 100% with her engineering job. So I just want to formally welcome Kim and give her a chance to say a few words. But how about another round of applause, even a standing ovation? And I'd like to give a progress report after 2 weeks. Kim has hit the ground running and is doing great work, both as an interim director general and as an engineer. Would you like to say a few words, Kim?
Well, thank you, Warden, for this. As I spoke at the last meeting, I'm really happy to have the chance to have this position and to help out and to ensure some continuity here at the MRC for our council members, our staff, and the general public. So thank you.
And it also gives me great pleasure to introduce our new Economic Development Director, Mr. Guillaume Boudreau. The position of economic development director had been vacant for about 5 or 6 months, and our team was working very hard nonetheless without a director. But it's a great relief to have Guillaume with us. And Guillaume arrived on Monday at 8:30 sharp. He had his team meeting, met all of them for the first time, and then managed to join Kim and I with the CPO, those are the wardens of the Outaouais, down in Gatineau. And one thing that, because he had noticed that the economic development directors were there to have a briefing with Hydro-Quebec. And the one thing that really impressed me was he already seemed to know some of the economic development directors. And one in particular, her name was Chloe Gagnon. I said, "How do you know her?" And he said, "Well, she's part of my success." And I said, "What do you mean?" Before his interview, he took the time to meet with all of the economic development directors in the Outaouais to find out more about the job and, pick their brains and get some information. So really great, Guillaume. So far, so good. You've also hit the ground running, and I'll give you a chance to say a few words. And the mayors will all be very happy to shake your hand afterwards and welcome you.
Thank you, Warden. Just a brief word to share my gratefulness to join your region as part of the MRC Pontiac. It's a great pleasure for me to be part of this team, to work for you. It's the region of Pontiac reminds me a lot of my hometown in northern New Brunswick. And I'm really happy to be part of this. I think it's a great timing. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you in your municipalities. I'd like to go and visit, so I'm taking invitations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, and now we will jump right into our agenda. The opening, we need a resolution, please, by Councillor Sandra Armstrong. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. I've already mentioned that this meeting is being recorded by Facebook Live. Now I will read the declaration, the use of language of your choice. And just a reminder to all of the mayors, whenever you want to speak, you do need to use a microphone. Otherwise, those who are watching on the internet will not be able to hear you. Je rappelle l'importance pour les membres du conseil régional et les autres participants à la séance de s'exprimer librement dans la langue de leur choix. Au besoin, il y aura la présence sur place d'une ressource de la MRC pour assurer une traduction. I'd like to reiterate the importance for regional council members and other participants in the sitting to express themselves freely in the language of their choice. If necessary, a resource of the MRC will be available to ensure translation. The attendance sheet has gone around. Hopefully everyone has signed it, but usually I also do a verbal attendance. So I will call out your name and please say present or present. And we do have Stephanie Roche, who is on Zoom from Rapide des Joachins. Welcome, Stephanie. Bienvenue. And I believe we've had a good report about Mayor Doug Rochelle. His surgery was about a week ago, and his wife Joanne said so far so good, and that all is going well. Corey Spence, Carl Mayer, Brantor, Alain Gagnon, Raymond Pilon, Donnie Gagnon, Edward Walsh, Christine Francoeur, Jean-Louis Corriveau, Terry Lafleur, Sandra Armstrong, Lynn Cameron, Doug Russell, replaced by Stephanie Roush.
Present.
Excellent. Thanks, Stephanie. Bill McCleary, Doris Ranger, Colleen LaRiviere. And replacing Karen Kelly tonight is Robert Willis. Thank you, from Thorne. Odette Godin, Kim Lesage, Annie Vinecourt, Travis Ladisser, Natasha Guimet, Julian Gagnon. He is here. Colleen Jones, Guillaume Boudreau, Jason Durand. Great. Thank you very much. Now we go on to the declaration of decorum by the warden. Nous sommes élus par les gens de Pontiac pour les représenter au mieux de nos capacités. Ils s'attendent à ce que nous menions nos réunions d'une manière professionnelle. J'écouterai très attentivement les débats et les discussions de cette réunion, et si j'entends des paroles négatives ou des critiques à l'égard de quelqu'un d'autre, j'arrêterai la réunion et demanderai à cette personne de s'excuser. Je vous remercie. We are elected by the people of the Pontiac to represent them to the best of our ability. They expect us to conduct our meetings in a professional and businesslike manner. I will be listening very carefully to the debate and discussion in this meeting, and if I hear any words of negativity or criticism of anyone else, I will stop the meeting and ask that person to apologize. Thank you. And now we will I need a resolution to for the reading and adoption of the agenda of the TNO, moved by Councillor Walsh. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Are there any declarations of interest or conflict in this agenda? Seeing none, could I have a resolution to adopt the minutes of the last sitting of the TNO, moved by Councillor Donnie Gagnon? All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Are there any questions from the public on the TNO? I don't think so. Actually, Jean-Philippe's question was not to do with the TNO. It was just general for the public meeting. Very good. Public question period. This would be a question about the TNO, which is our unorganized territory. Anybody here with a question about that? Okay, no. Accounts paid. Annie Vinecourt to give her report.
Bonsoir, good evening. Pour le TNO, on approche la fin de l'année, comme vous savez, pour notre année au 31 décembre. Le budget, the budget so far for TNO, approaching the end of the year, everything is following its course. Everything is within budget. We did have expenses in the last month for a total of $37,992.26. The larger expenses were a $13,000 invoice for some work on our garage that was built outside. So that's getting finished up. We also had some road maintenance with the ZEC Pontiac. So we had $11,000. Then we had a bit of maintenance on a vehicle for about almost $1,300. We also paid our second half of our Sûreté du Québec services for the year. So that's $9,567. And then there was a few, just the rest of the expenses are just small, mostly gas for vehicles and des fournitures, des choses comme ça qui ont besoin pour le TNO. Donc, c'est tout pour le TNO.
Are there any questions of Annie on her report or comments? Okay, good job. Could I have a resolution to approve this? Moved by Councillor Carl Mayer. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. Number 11, the notice of motion and draft bylaw for expenses and revenues of the TNO for the year 2023. Notice of motion, Annie Vinecourt.
So this is just giving a notice of motion for next month. We will be adopting the TNO budget. So there's a project, it's going to be a bylaw as usual. So that will be presented next month.
Thanks, Annie. Could I have someone please move a resolution to close the sitting? Moved by. Oh, I'm sorry. So you've announced them and now we need to read them. Okay, Councillor Terry Lafleur will give notice for the two. Okay, thank you very much. And now could I have a resolution to close the meeting? Moved by Councillor Christine Francoeur. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Thank you. Now we will go to our public meeting. And for the opening and attendance, the attendance has been taken. Could I have a resolution to open the meeting? Moved by Pro Warden Sandra Armstrong. All those in favor? Opposed, and that's carried. Just a reminder that this meeting will be recorded with Facebook Live and that the recording will be available on our website probably by tomorrow. Are there any declarations? Actually, this is first the declaration of language of your choice. Je rappelle l'importance pour les membres du conseil régional et les autres participants à la séance de s'exprimer librement dans la langue de leur choix. Au besoin, il y aura la présence sur place d'une ressource de la MRC pour assurer une traduction. I'd like to reiterate the importance for regional council members and other participants in the sitting to express themselves freely in the language of their choice. If necessary, a resource of the MRC will be available to ensure translation. And also the statement by the warden on decorum. Nous sommes élus par les gens de Pontiac pour les représenter au mieux de nos capacités. Ils s'attendent à ce que nous menions nos réunions d'une manière professionnelle. J'écouterai très attentivement les débats et les discussions de cette réunion et si j'entends des paroles négatives ou des critiques à l'égard de quelqu'un d'autre, j'arrêterai la réunion et demanderai à cette personne de s'excuser. Je vous remercie. We are elected by the people of the Pontiac to represent them to the best of our ability. They expect us to conduct our meetings in a professional and businesslike manner. I will be listening very carefully to the debate and discussion in this meeting, and if I hear any words of negativity or criticism of anyone else, I will stop the meeting and ask that person to apologize. Thank you. Could I have a resolution to, before that actually, we have two resolutions to add. One will be on the appointment of members governing committees for FRR3. And the other will be a resolution for signing authority for a mortgage deed with Murray Allery. And so we will call those. 14.9 will be the yes with Murray Allery, and 6.2 will be the 16.2 will be the resolution to have appointing of the members for governing committee FRR3. Okay, so with those added, could I have someone adopt the agenda? Moved by Pro Warden Sandra Armstrong. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Thank you. Are there any declarations of conflict of interest on this agenda? Seeing none. Could I have a resolution to adopt the minutes of the sitting of Wednesday, October 19th? Moved by Mayor Ed Walsh. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Number 8, adoption of the minutes of the November 1st, 2022 special sitting, a resolution. Moved by Marilyn Gagnon. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Number 9, an adoption of the minutes of the November 10th, 2022 special sitting, a resolution. Moved by Mayor Doris Ranger. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. At this point, I would like to go to the evenement announcements and events, because my warden's report is actually in my office and I have to go and get it. So Pro Warden Sandra Armstrong, could you come up to my chair, please? I'll go and get my report and we'll start to go around the table. We'll start with Raymond Pilon, representing Campbell's Bay. If you have anything interesting happening in Campbell's Bay or any announcements to make, go ahead.
December 3rd, we'll be having our Christmas parade, starting at 1 p.m. at the St. Joseph Manor.
Terra de Flare, Otter Lake. We have a kids' Christmas party at the RA on December 3rd from 3 to 6. We also have a lighting ceremony, tree lighting ceremony, on December 3rd. I believe that's at 6 o'clock as well. And the 50+ Christmas supper is on December 17th. Tickets for $25. This food's really, really good. So, Merry Christmas.
Leachfield participates in the Christmas parade with Campbell's Bay. So it's a Campbell's Bay Leachfield Christmas parade, which will be December 3rd. And again, it's leaving St. Joseph's Manor. Merry Christmas.
Merci, Alain Gagnon, Bryson. 2 décembre à 7h PM, parade de Noël avec lumière. Et c'est tout. Joyeux Noël.
Lynn Cameron, Portage to Port. We have nothing until New Year's Eve with fireworks.
Corey Spence, Illuze Allumette. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome Guillaume to the MRC, and I'd like to call you up on your offer about getting invited. So on November 27th, we're having a déjeuner Lions Club breakfast at the Community Hall Center. So you're welcome to that. Yeah, yes. And also, mark that down. December 1st, December 4th, we're having a Christmas parade. We'd love to see you there as well. Okay, it starts at 1. And December 7th, Young at Heart Christmas dinner. You'd fit right in right there with those groups.
Bill McClary, Shawville. I can't offer you breakfast, but you're welcome to come to the town hall at any time. Friday evening, tree lighting, 6 o'clock. There's also a street market, 5 to 8, I believe. I'm not 100% sure of it. And Saturday night is the Parade of Lights, which we share with Clarendon, 5 o'clock. And unfortunately, no Santa Claus after for the kids. They're still a little bit COVID nervous. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Robert Wills, Pro Mayor of Thorn. And in Thorn, we're going to try to keep the roads clear of snow for the winter. Until April, that's our job.
Sandra Armstrong, Mansfield et Pontefract. Guillaume, tu es toujours invité à Mansfield et Pontefract. Tu devrais venir visiter notre pont illuminé. There's no dates or nothing, but we have la Parade de Noël on the 3rd of December, so you're welcome there. This one is good for you, Guillaume. So on Saturday, November the 26th, we have a Marché de Noël d'antan, so our Christmas market outside of the Bryson House on Highway 148 or Rue Principale, right next door to the Red Bridge. So everyone is welcome. And this year again in Mansfield, we're doing our contests, Concours de Lumière de Noël, donc contest for the Christmas lights. People will be going around and deciding who wins the contest. And that's about it. And I'll wait for December to wish you Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Christine Brancard, municipalité de Fort-Coulonge. Nous, on a le 6 décembre, il va y avoir une représentation d'une madame Nancy Audet. La représentation va être au centre de conférence à Fort-Coulonge à 7 heures le soir. On aimerait ça inviter toute la population du Pontiac. C'est une dame qui a un vécu exceptionnel, une dame qui était un enfant de la DPJ et qui est devenue journaliste à TVA. C'est inspirant son histoire, puis elle est là non seulement pour raconter son histoire, mais aussi pour nous aider à identifier les enfants qui sont dans le besoin. Dans le besoin, pas toujours juste de l'abus, mais le besoin de nourriture, besoin de vêtements, besoin d'amour même, n'importe quoi. Donc, s'il vous plaît, on invite le Pontiac au complet de se rendre à cette soirée. Vous allez voir aussi l'information va se promener sur le web. Merci beaucoup.
Odette Godin, Waltham. We are having our Christmas parade consisting of the fire truck on December 4th. And Santa Claus will hand out candy to the kids. Also having our seniors supper. This year, the Waltham station is holding it for us because of the COVID. They're handling it. Also delivering to the seniors and the vulnerable that can't come out and get it themselves. And that's it.
Good evening. Doris Range, Sheenborough. We have nothing to report, but we will be supporting Mayor Spence and all his activities. We have a parade, we have a float that we will be entering to for line dancing. Thank you.
Promener sur le web.
And we
Merci
also
beaucoup.
like to welcome Guillaume to for line dancing. Thank you.
Promener.
Carl, Mary, Aileen, and Caleb. We have our Christmas parade on December 10th. Santa Claus will be there giving gifts to the kids. We have 92 kids. Don't know where they all came from because the population's only about 150. So we're going to give them all gifts.
Jean-Louis Corriveau, le maire de l'île du Grand-Calmet. On n'a pas grand-chose, mais nos pompiers vont participer à la parade de Bryson. Fait que vous serez bienvenus là aussi. Puis joyeux Noël. Merci beaucoup.
Hello, everyone. Brent Orr, Mayor of Bristol. We have no announcements, but we will be enjoying the parade in Shawville on Saturday.
Hello, Ed Walsh, Mayor of Clarendon. Welcome, Guillaume. As Bill had said, we're sharing the Santa Claus parade with Shawville. So that's Saturday night, this Saturday coming, the 26th at 5 o'clock. Also, it's at the arena in Shawville. There's the Fish Finley Classic 3-on-3 is coming up the weekend of the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of December. So if anybody wants to get out and see some good hockey or whatever, you have a lot of still competitive guys from junior and stuff like that that are playing in the 3-on-3 tournament. So it's good quality hockey, and Merry Christmas to everybody as well.
Donald Gagnon, Chichester. I have nothing to report, but there's lots of interesting events going on. I know I'll be going to the parade with Corey there in Alleyman Island. But there's lots of nice things going on. So hope to attend.
Thank you, everyone. And Stephanie Roush, anything going on with the downtown life committee in Rapide des Joachim?
Hi, Jane. Thank you. So the municipality is going to be hosting a Christmas float December 17th. Santa will be greeting the children inside the community center and handing out gifts in conjunction with the Maison des Jeunes. And the Live Downtown Committee does have a few events happening as well. They're doing a seniors Christmas dinner, and they're also providing free movie nights for the children to different occasions, and the dates are posted in our local newspaper.
Excellent. Stephanie, maybe you could let me know when the Christmas dinner is. I've attended before when Jim Gibson was mayor. And also, I know sometime in December, we're all going to be together, including Jim Gibson and hopefully Douglas Russell, for the opening of Rapide des Joachim, because Bill Kane Jr. said he's coming up in December to do that. So that's a great thing. Congratulations for Rapide des Joachim. And you sound like you're right here in the room with us. It's a very good connection considering how distant you are. But thank you for joining our meeting.
We are fortunate to have Starlink now in Swisha, so that helps.
That's happy to see it's working so well. That's great. Okay, thanks everyone. And now I have a question, because I have never met this person face to face. Is Kath Sean Morris O'Donoghue in the room? Could you please come up here? It's such a great pleasure to have you here tonight. Now, I want everyone to know Kath works a double shift and she got time off with short notice from her boss so she could be here. This is the famous person who is looking after Animal Aid Pontiac. And we've spoken about you so many times at this meeting. And the number of cats that through the work and gestures of you and your husband, and I'm sure other volunteers, where, you know, despite working a double shift in her spare time, she goes out and finds feral cats, wild cats, you know, cats that have no home, that have had litters, and she has them spayed and neutered, and I think microchipped, and the shots, and then you put them up for adoption. And usually you've been raising money through, you've got, is it almost kind of a bingo or something like that? Odell, come up to the front as well. Excellent. I'm going to pass you the microphone. I just wanted to say one last thing before I do this. The work that you are doing is so exemplary and amazing as citizens of the Pontiac. And I don't know what we would do without you. And I just want you to know that just yesterday, someone frantically wrote me and said, what can I do? I have these wild cats. They keep having kittens. We can't look after them. I have sent her your email. I think you've already heard from her. And another person stopped me on the street today asking me if I was taking any more cats, because again, the same issue. And you know, people in the Pontiac love and respect animals, but when something gets out of control, they just don't know what to do. And I just want you to know that the MRC Pontiac will help you in any way that we can with increasing awareness, encouraging people not to let their cats, if they haven't been spayed or neutered, just to be out on the run, because you know they produce at a very fast rate. So from the bottom of our hearts tonight, I won't make the announcement of the amount of money, but you have qualified through our COVID money, which has come through, for OBNLs in particular, because that is what you are, a not-for-profit group. You're going to be receiving a very nice donation. It is from the Council of Mayors, because we want to thank you and recognize you for all of your hard work. And it all comes at a price, and I'm sure it's often been out of your own pockets, but you have such a dedication and a real purpose for this. So please, thank you. People on Facebook Live, you have to put the mic right up to your mouth.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for any amount of money that you're gonna send because it's about $900 a week that we're spending sometimes on the amount of surgery trips and the TNR. We also help people get to more affordable spay neuter. If you reach us on our Facebook page, Animal Aid Pontiac on Facebook. It's not always quick because we have hundreds and hundreds of people that contact us. So spay neuter your pets, contact us on Facebook. Thank you everybody for showing support. That's totally awesome. It's sometimes a thankless job. You know, sometimes you're like, I don't think anybody even notices what we do. But last year was more than 600 cats that we brought to surgery. More than half of that's female. So you can imagine 4 litters per female per year. That's a lot of cats. And it doesn't always seem like important, but there's thousands of them across the Pontiac living outside and they're all breeding. So we're trying to get to them as fast as we can. And it'll probably take me till I'm 95. But Odell's in there with me, right? We're in there until we're 108. Yeah, 108. So that's all. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very, very much. Keep up your great work. Thank you so much. Beg your pardon, Ed? Yes, Ed. Yes, Mayor Walsh has a question.
Just one quick question. I know that's for the strays and stuff like that, but we can't keep a vet around here. Do you guys have any contacts like for people with domestic animals, like for where we can take them? Like
Yeah, well, this is what I was mentioning about. We don't just do the strays. 2 or 3 times a month, I take about 30 cats in my SUV to Lanark Leeds Grenville Spay Neuter Clinic in Brockville because there are no local vets in the Pontiac and there's none that will give a discount. So I drive them there and I drive them to Montreal. So people just have to come through the page, and when I have but space for them, it may take a while. I do make those trips. It's like maybe 150 for a male, 250 for a female, and at a regular vet, you're looking at like $600 to $800. So it's a huge savings, and we've been doing that like for the last 4 years. Those trips, but anybody can contact Lanark Leeds Grenville Spay Neuter Clinic in Brockville. It's still worth the gas. And usually there's other people in the community that want to go. So you carpool. They'll do as many cats as you need on the same day. Or contact us through Facebook, Animal Aid Pontiac on Facebook, or animalaidpontiac@gmail.com. And we'll eventually get you on the list to get you through to get your cat spayed and neutered.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Just thinking, just the gas alone that you're spending. But Ed has raised a very important point, and it's very important to everybody around this table is that we find a veterinarian, that we attract veterinarians again to the Pontiac.
Well, let me mention, we have one who's really interested, Dr. Mel. She works with
Yes, Dr. Mel, would she come back?
There's an issue with the French imperative on the veterinary exam.
Right.
So this is part of the problem. Even like francophones are having a problem doing that test, but they're fully francophone or fully bilingual. And so they can't practice in Quebec unless they're under another veterinarian. So we're losing them. They just go back to Ontario, right? And like, I mean, we need a vet. We need a vet. There's so many emergency calls and there's nowhere to go unless you go to Ottawa, and you're looking at like $300 to walk in the door. So we really need to do something to get extra vets in Quebec.
Okay. So what we will do is use every effort that we can. You know, Pontiac region is bilingual. We have bilingual status here. And I honestly think that if we just get to the right people and with our help with Andre Fortin, et cetera, that absolutely we can. And if Mel is interested in returning, surely we can get over this. She was looking at, I have a rescue miniature horses, and that's who was looking after them was Dr. Mel. Could you two please come up? I've just been given the authorization to announce this now to you. Okay, so on behalf of the MRC Council of Mayors, it is with great pleasure and we know this money will be used wisely. We'd like to present you with $10,000.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, our very efficient Director General interim is just reminding me to announce again that it is from the OBNL COVID Fund, which we were given money by the provincial government, in particular to help organizations who through COVID haven't been able to fundraise as much. And certainly in your case, this really applies, but single-handedly, the two of you and your group are looking after the whole Pontiac. And I don't know, we'd be completely overrun if it wasn't for you. Thank you so much for caring. Thank you. Okay, quickly, my warden report. So the last month began where we were all at Mayor Morris Beauregard's funeral. Then I was with a CTV interview, meeting with Bernard Roy, the CPO, a meeting with Pierre Lafontaine, who's with Swim Canada, HR committee, Mr. Staton, Jessica Forg, Chamber of Commerce, the bus trip to the Durham York Energy Center with many of you around the table and other members of municipalities from our waste committee to see the Covanta facility. Had lunch with Andre Fortin. I attended the Mansfield Firefighters plaque unveiling of 40 years. Had a special meeting of council, 2 budget working sessions, a meeting of Chute Calange, a mayor's meeting, Remembrance Day at Alumet Island, the budget for the MRC with the Legion branch 160, budget meeting, and then also attended the Remembrance Day service at the MRC with our Legion branch 162. Had a phone call with Guillaume Boudreau, attended the funeral of Lucy Bertrand. Multi-Resource Advisory Committee, a budget committee, a meeting with John Dubé concerning Javelco, meeting with Andre Cordeau, was able to introduce Guillaume Boudreau to Cindy Phillips, and they had a great meeting for 2 hours in Renfrew County. Shawville Remembrance Day, Portage de Fort Remembrance Day, the CSP, preparation for plenary, the plenary, interview with the equity, signature with Marie Allery, the CPO, the Hydro-Quebec L'Evolution du Réseau de Transport Électrique dans l'Outaouais, a meeting of Pontiac Piscine Pool, budget meeting, Waste Management Committee, and also our MP Sophie Chattel had a COP15, which was quite unique. She had 70 people from the Outaouais in the Chelsea area yesterday. And from that, the 2 best ideas are going to be presented in Montreal to the International COP15. And Andre Fortin was there as well. And then I met today with Guillaume to discuss priorities at economic development, and we had an HR meeting. Yes, Kim? Oh, gosh. Thank you. Yes, we had our first on-tried MRC breakfast. That was on Tuesday morning. 6 of our mayors were there. And thanks to Ed Walsh and the Lions Club, I'm thanking him because they haven't received a bill yet for the use of the hall, and I'm hoping it's free. Thank you very much again. Anyways, it was a great start, and actually Marie Allery came up to me and said that next year she would like to be our Pontiac Centride community person. And we're going to involve the Chamber of Commerce. Jessica Forg was there, so should be an even bigger and better event. But the best part was our 7 associations that benefit from the money from Centride were able to be there and basically inform us about how well this money is being used. So we really need to support Centride. Thank you, Kim. And Kim was there, and Lean was there, and Annie, and Sabrina, and Guillaume. Was that everyone from MRC staff? So we had a really good showing. Thank you so much.
And I think we have to give you a big thanks because I think all the food maybe was provided from your restaurant and the serving of it. And it was very good for a pre-cooked breakfast. Thank you.
Well, we wanted to make sure that the whole $25, which was the admission, hopefully was worth the breakfast, but more importantly, that all of that went to Suntride. Thank you, Bill. So now we will go to questions from the public, and we have a number of them. I'm going to start with question number 1 from Jean-Philippe, who has basically pointed out that at one time there used to be agents from the MFFP that were looking after the flora and fauna, and just wondering why MRC couldn't be involved or why we couldn't have this protection again. And we agree it's a good idea. And Jason Durand and I we're going to look into it through the MFFP. Maybe it was a budget cut, but we think it's very important, especially because we have a beautiful wilderness here and we want to see it well protected. So we thank Mr. Jean-Philippe. Second question is from Mr. Claude Valliere. I think he's in the room. Do you want to actually ask your question in public? Or do you want me to read it out? Okay.
Oui. Oui, nous avons 3 questions, mais je crois qu'on a le droit juste à une.
Oui.
Nous avons 3 questions concernant il y a eu une transaction entre Westboro Mortgage Investment et Westcam Income Limited en date du 29/06/2022. Est-ce que le conseil, est-ce qu'ils peuvent confirmer que cette vente pour 2 800 000 a pris place? Et les autres questions concernent le projet de règlement du projet intégré de la municipalité de Mansfield et Pontefract, le 2022-008. On aimerait avoir des informations sur quelle a été la recommandation du CCU à propos du règlement et quand et à quel endroit a eu lieu la rencontre du CCU. Et puis, je peux déposer les signatures que les gens ont signées pour ces questions.
Okay, merci beaucoup.
Merci.
And I'm going to ask Sandra Armstrong, the mayoress of Mansfield and Pontefract, to respond. Sandra?
Est-ce que pour la transaction, tu t'adressais à moi ou au conseil de la MRC, Claude?
Je m'adresse au conseil.
So for the transaction of the sale between Westboro and Westcam?
Yes.
He was addressing to the mayor's council. And for my question, donc pour I will answer in French and repeat in English if I need to. So là, tu demandes quoi? Comme le règlement, il est passé à la municipalité, vous avez été, tu étais présent durant, Claude, je te parle?
Oui.
Tu peux me regarder.
Oui.
Quand que vous êtes venu signer les registres, notre directeur général était là et répondait à vos questions. Vous êtes passé à la réunion municipale tout de suite après, quelques jours après, une semaine après. On a répondu vos questions. Puis maintenant, le questionnement est encore ici. C'est une affaire de municipalité de Mansfield et Pontefract. Je vais vous inviter à passer à mon bureau. Je vais vous donner une carte d'affaires. Ça va faire plaisir de vous répondre. Des affaires de la municipalité de Mansfield, ça se passe à Mansfield et non par MRC du Pontiac. Le règlement, il est ici. Le règlement que nous, on a passé, on a parlé avec avec Alexandre Savoie-Perron. Puis, ce qui arrive, c'est que ça fait dans le schéma d'aménagement. Donc, il n'y a aucun problème avec ce règlement-là. Puis, ça va être ma réponse pour les questions. Je vais vous donner ma carte d'affaires. Vous venez me visiter n'importe quand à la municipalité de Mansfield et Pontefract.
Merci. Est-ce que je peux déposer quand même mes 3 questions au conseil régional, s'il vous plaît?
Third question. It's here.
Oui, j'ai dépôt de documents et j'ai des questions sur le CCU. Je voudrais savoir si le CCU a eu lieu ou non. C'est très important pour adopter le règlement.
So Alexandre, when did the CCU meet and when was this approved? Yeah, what was your recommendation?
Donc, Alexandre Sauvaperon, aménagiste, Alexandre Sauvaperon, land planner. Donc, peut-être juste ce que je peux dire au niveau là, de l'analyse de la MRC. Donc, tout règlement doit être analysé en conformité avec notre schéma d'aménagement et de développement. So every bylaw change from municipality regarding planning has to be analyzed by our by staff and then approved or disapproved by council. Donc, la question de Claude au niveau du CCU, effectivement, je référais à la municipalité pour cette question. Malheureusement, je n'ai pas l'information à savoir si le comité consultatif d'urbanisme a eu une rencontre là-dessus et ou a eu une recommandation. Moi, dans le fond, dans mon processus, je me base si les étapes là, ont été suivies, donc l'ensemble du processus là, de modification de règlement de zonage, ce qui a été fait. Et donc, ce soir, la recommandation, c'est que le règlement que j'ai sur la table a été analysé et est conforme au schéma. Maintenant, je vous remercie d'être venu présenter vos préoccupations ou vos questions liées avec ce règlement. Ça reste que c'est le conseil qui décide d'approuver ou de désapprouver ultimement le règlement. So the council has the final word on approving or disapproving this bylaw or any bylaw. Merci.
Thank you very much. I was just, the first question, pouvez-vous nous confirmer que cette vente pour 2,800,000 à prix place, that is not something that the MRC is involved in. That would have been with Mansfield municipality, or actually they would be aware of it, but it would have been a business transaction that took place at the municipal level. Okay. So we will go on to Mr. Guyette. He has a number of questions. Question one was an excellent question. He happened to notice that the minutes had not been posted on our website for a few months. It's all been updated now. There were some changes being made to our website. So thank you very much for that, Mr. Guyette. Question two, he was wondering about a $7,000 grant and an $8,000 resolution without any detail. These were from our investment committee. And when we approve these grants, we cannot announce who the recipient is until it's approved. And then the next day, the recipient learns of it. But I do agree with you that it could be mentioned in the minutes because by then it's public information. So another good suggestion. Question three was to Mayor Donnie Gagnon, and Mayor Donnie Gagnon is giving me the opportunity to answer. It was just concerning an amount of $33,920 that was approved by the firm for the firm Rue Principal, and wanted to know what this was for. So actually Chichester and Calumet worked together on some Main Street revitalization, and this is money that was made available through our vitalization fund. Question four is for me. The Economic Vitality Index for municipalities indicate that all our municipalities are ranked negatively because we have 10 of them in Q5, 6 in Q4, and 2 of them in Q3. So what's interesting about this is because it is true that we did have those rankings, but because of that, we're very fortunate to have received $5 million from the provincial government for vitalization. And we are very engaged in this right now, making sure that every dollar is well spent. We've already embarked on the first 2.5 million. And also we've received money for a signature innovation, which will be entrepreneurship. So, you know, it's just a reality that compared to some other municipalities, ours were ranked lower. But I'm also pleased to say that the premier that we have right now was actually elected in the rural areas, and he understands that to raise the whole province. You have to go to the poorest areas and help them vitalize themselves and not just pour all the money into the big cities. So we're really benefiting from that. But I also, as an aside, Mr. Guyette and I always have a little bit of a running argument about whether we're the poorest. And I was announcing before that we had gone from 102 to 96. Well, the new portrait of a community has just come out for 2022, and it shows us where we've gone from 2018 to 2020. For some reason, they don't have the page rankings. So I don't know what our rank is, but I can tell you that it says our population increased actually by 500 people. We have higher house prices. Well, we know that. And the third thing, our vitality index has increased and number of jobs has increased. So it's a positive upswing for the Pontiac. Question 5, he wanted to, he would like to know on a monthly basis, our lists of accounts payable and lists of payments could be included in our minutes. It's a lot of information to put in our minutes. So my answer to that will be that any member of the public, including Mr. Guyette, can simply ask for it and we will send it to them electronically by email. Okay, so those are Mr. Guyette's questions. Now, Amy Taylor. Question 1, during the last meeting, she asked how many business permits were accepted and denied. We still do not have the answer for that. I do promise we will have it by the December meeting. The MTQ has formally been asked at least twice to repair the L'Île aux Allumettes Chichester Bridge. And I know who I'm going to turn this to. I'm sure the mayor of Allumette knows, but our engineer is right beside. And she's, do you mind if I let the our engineer? Okay. So we're wondering about the L'Île aux Allumettes Chichester Bridge. Can the residents expect to see this job completed in the new year? Is there any MTQ money going towards that?
I don't believe that we saw it on our programmation annuelle for the next 2 years.
I can make a comment on that. We've sent many resolutions within the last 6 months, I guess, every month. And I think, I don't know if Sheenborough did, Allumet Island, Chichester, and so far we haven't got, they acknowledge they've got it, but no response on when they're going to do the work.
Amy, we're going to have to put more pressure on that one. And all I can say is I would like the Council of Mayors to know this. Our engineer has been applying for grants. Every grant that she applies through the MTQ, the money's there, but a lot of other MRCs don't seem to apply. Every one that Kim has applied for, she has gotten a positive response. So just to let you know, I believe, do you mind if I mention some of them? I believe 2 million to Chichester, 2 million to Otter Lake, 2 million to Thorn, about 10 million plus to L'Île aux Allumettes. I mean, it's amazing. So I just would like to actually, as she said, oh no, I'm going to be busier with my engineering work. But anyways, this is really great. This is infrastructure. It's all road work, right? And bridge culverts and things like that. And, you know, so she can also apply for these grants and is effectively getting money for all of your municipalities. So if you have any work, you know who to speak to. After Christmas. Okay. Question 3, an amount of 1,626,100,000 183 is budgeted for MRC. This is a very technical question. Amy, I'm sorry. I will take it upon myself to answer this week to you. Also, question 4, the 2020 budget was released just prior to the pandemic, where some money was budgeted for land use planning and development. It was a 44% increase in expenditures compared to 2019. What facilitated this increase? Does anybody know just off the top? Would you know off the top why so much more money had to go into land use planning and development? The landscape study? Could have, okay. Annie?
It includes economic development in that section, which is why it's always a big number. And in 2020 is when the new fiscal pact was signed and we got more money in the FRR, like Valais 3 and 4, like the vitalization and stuff. So, so that increased our budget by almost 1.2 million, I guess, because it's a revenue, but we have to budget the expenses the same amount. So it increases your revenues and your expenses, but it's because we got more funding. Yeah.
Well, that's great. That makes sense. And question 5, resolutions to pass various expenditures by council and administration are often passed without elaboration. So she's just questioning transparency. And I just want to say again, because we have been asked many times, are we going to have public plenary meetings? There is no MRC in Quebec that has a public plenary meeting. Apparently, the city of Gatineau has quite a bit of their meeting public, and we're trying to do that more and more. And we're trying to, open up the meeting where we can provide more information and make it more interesting. So that's something that we are working on. Question 6, for the past 6 years, from 2019 to 2021, there were deficit budgets approved by the members of this council. Budgets show that an appropriation of an appropriate accumulated surplus was used to cover expenses. How much of this accumulated surplus is remaining? Well, that's I know. Yeah. So after the end of the year, about 500,000, but it is not wise to spend your surplus because there can always be unexpected occurrences. And actually, lately, we have formed a budget subcommittee, and we've made a plan next year to be very involved with our budgeting and to be meeting on a monthly basis, which I think is a step in the right direction. Question 7, did any members of this council attend the CNL discussions held recently? Did any of you attend any of the CNL discussions? No, but I know that our MRC staff were needing to be involved with kind of a job fair or not a job fair.
It's a local supplier meet and greet that they're going to be having in early December, and that there's going to be a lot of publicity coming out of this very shortly, but it's to really involve all of our local businesses to try to offer their services, because CNL are like a small city. They need from, carpet cleaning to light bulbs to construction work. So it's not just because you have a small business here, even catering and things like that, that they could use our services, and they do. It is really to support local businesses that they're having this meet and greet in December.
Okay, very good. The last question was about public question period, and how does the warden promote transparency and integrity by blocking residents from social media posts? Now, I believe I was asked this same question last month. I don't believe I've blocked anybody, and I hardly use my Facebook. If anything, I should be probably posting more things. So that's the answer to that. And I am very proud of our MRC Pontiac and our Council of Mayors, because we are extremely transparent and we are open to suggestions, questions from the public, and all the scrutiny that they would like to give us, because we are operating we operate in a very open fashion here. So let's get back to the agenda now. We now go to public questions. Are there any people in the room that have a question that they would like to ask? And if so, I'll ask you to go and stand at the podium and identify yourself first. Anybody here to ask a question? May I ask you, is it an autre question? Another question, different? The same subject, but it's a different question? All right, you can ask it. Just take the microphone. Okay.
Je voudrais seulement faire une recommandation. Il faut savoir étudier le dossier et tout. Sur le projet 2022-008, le projet intégré de la municipalité de Mansfield-et-Pontefract. Les maires vont l'adopter ce soir. Je demande aux maires à ce que ce projet soit révisé parce qu'il n'est pas complet et il manque beaucoup de choses sur le projet. Donc, j'aimerais ça que ce projet ne soit pas adopté ce soir, qu'il demande une révision parce qu'il manque un plan d'aménagement. Il n'y a rien sur le comment que ça va se faire, sur l'eau potable, sur les égouts, sur l'implantation des bâtiments, quel type de bâtiment.
Qu'est-ce que c'est la question?
La question est, s'il vous plaît, je demande aux maires qui sont ici de ne pas adopter le règlement et de demander une révision.
OK.
Sur le projet de règlement. Voilà.
OK. La réponse? Would you like to?
I will. Monsieur Vallière, je m'adresse à vous parce que vous avez posé la question. Le règlement a été fait dans toute légalité. On n'a pas donné de permis de construction parce qu'on ne sait pas si ça va passer. Les autres, il faut qu'ils prennent des tests de sol et tout. Une fois que ça s'est passé, le public va être avisé de ce qui va se passer là, aussi bien que n'importe quelle autre personne dans le Pontiac qui veut être à la rencontre.
Excusez-moi, pas de discussion maintenant. Merci. Okay, that was your response, Madam Mayor? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Of course.
Yes. Mrs. Smith, what I said is there's no permit. You know about that. You were there that day that we signed the registry. You signed, Eric explained to you, and they came back to the meeting. We explained again, and we're here at the MRC on the 23rd of November, explaining again that product. The thing is, we never give a permit. The people are interested of doing this project. And right now there's no plans or there's no inquiries about permits or nothing. So we're not at that stage yet. When we get to that stage, these people, what they're doing right now is test for the soil.
The soil.
Soil, test for soils, for the soil. And when they come back and that is okay for them to go ahead, then everybody will be informed of that in a meeting. So, and you come to the MRC to ask questions about Mansfield and Pontefract, you're always welcome. You know that. We've talked to you. And I don't know why you come here, but matters in Mansfield and Pontefract will stay in Mansfield and Pontefract from now on.
Right. Okay, another question. Could you please use this microphone? Thank you.
Hello. Well, once this plan has been revised and perhaps has been approved by Mansfield and Pontefract, and it will be public, will the public be able to object to it, or will they simply be informed? Diane Curouette.
Bonjour, Madame. So people will be informed when it passed and it goes with the law or the reglement of schéma de ménagement. Everything's being checked. Everybody's afraid of le ministre de l'Environnement. Everybody's afraid that we won't respect that. Well, you know, when you have a council, you need to have a little bit of faith in them. And we will work with the Ministry of Environment in Quebec. It won't be Ontario laws, it will be the Quebec laws, and that will be followed by us at the council, by our inspector, and it's tonight that we vote on it. So you had a chance to come and sign the registry. We didn't have enough vote to go to a referendum, and tonight, everything meets with le schéma de l'aménagement, and that's why we're here tonight. I guess that's why you're all here tonight. So next question you can ask me about anything about Mansfield will be directed at my municipal hall.
Thank you very much.
To ask a question? Okay.
My name is Sylvia Smith. My question is with the zoning changes, and how will every zone addressed, because they are all so different. We all live in some of these zones, and we feel very vulnerable with the zone that we are in, because we see changes that are happening, and we don't know how those zones are going to be respected, and how they will be protected from development, from the the higher density scenarios. And this is our big concern because we come from an area in Muskoka where that has happened. And much too late to stop that once it's already progressed. It's for the MRC because you are now voting on the zoning bylaw, and it's the zoning. Wait, yes. Okay, it is a modification. Yes, I am sorry. Thank you for straightening me out.
It wasn't long ago that as a table of mayors, we did talk about the fact that we know with our increased population and so many people like yourselves leaving other areas that did get overly intensified, that we don't want that to happen here in the Pontiac. So just as your mayor has said, have faith that the council wants to preserve the wilderness here, and any type of development will have to respect certain height maximums and I'm sure intensification. So, but tonight we're not talking about that. It's just a modification to zoning. And so it's a fairly routine thing. It's early in the development. We don't even know what's going to be developed. And when and if the time comes that a permit is requested, your council in Mansfield will have to send out a notice to everybody so that you can learn, what is planned. Okay. Are there any other questions? Oh, Mr. Laddiser. Okay, great. How are you? There's the microphone.
Yeah, what I'm wondering, we're trying to preserve things and have a say maybe in what's going to happen. But what we've seen so far, there's no plans, but we've seen some preliminary plan back in April that they were planning 500, 700 housing units in about 140 acres of land. So that's what created our concern. And that's what still creates our concern.
I can answer that, Jane. So what Mr. Ladsa said he saw on the internet, why am I up? So what Mr. Ladsa said he saw on the internet was a promotion package deal from that company. It doesn't mean
somewhere else, maybe
somewhere
in another part of Canada.
What okay, Mr. Ladsa, I have the right of vote right now. They were talking about this region, but what we're talking right now is this one lot, number one, if you want to call it number one. And this won't be done in 2023. It's going to be done by 2024 probably or more. And it's a long project that could take up to 5 years. So it's not that.
I think it was 10 years.
Yeah, maybe 10 years, 5 to 10 years.
And with any kind of development, there can always be modifications
along
the way.
So like we've answered this question and answered. And I guess the
residents do have.
Yes, they have a right to know. But I mean,
come
when we
and
answer
voice their
once,
concerns.
we give the same answer twice. We
Right.
give them the same answer third time.
All right, Mr. Laddiser, is this a
Yeah,
different
one
question?
last question.
Okay.
Who was on the committee deciding which zone in our municipality would be included in that 222,008?
Alex? It came from the municipality, so I guess the committee would be the council. Is that correct, Maris? Okay.
There's some zone included that may not or should be not. Anyway.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any other members of the public that would like to speak? Ask a question, actually. Bruno Saint-Cyr. Yes, Bruno.
Merci beaucoup, Madame Préfète. Pour ceux qui ne me connaissent pas, mon nom est Bruno Saint-Cyr, je suis propriétaire des usines de sciage à Davidson. Je voulais juste poser une question, c'est que j'ai entendu dire qu'à la dernière rencontre du conseil des maires en octobre, M. Dion avait posé une question et bon, on lui a répondu et on a dit, en tout cas j'ai entendu qu'il y aurait un suivi de fait sur cette question et je voulais savoir s'il y a effectivement eu un suivi sur cette question, d'avoir une résolution à envoyer au ministre, à la nouvelle ministre, pour faire en sorte que le Pontiac ne soit pas oublié dans les prochains chiffres que la ministre va avoir à établir pour les droits de couple qu'il peut y avoir dans la province de Québec. Alors, la question, c'est est-ce qu'il y a un suivi, est-ce qu'il y a eu un suivi de fait comme ça a été dit d'avoir été fait là, à la dernière rencontre du mois d'octobre? Is there any follow-up on the last meeting about the question of Mr. Gino Dion?
Yes, I actually had a verbal conversation with Mr. Dion. I think he was quite well satisfied with what I had to say. He was asking about GAs, and a GA is a provision of wood that you're guaranteed if you have a mill. If you don't have a mill that is in operation, it's very difficult to get a GA. But there are also examples, Matra, for example, that didn't have a GA. They went out and they just obtained wood through the private forest from Ontario, different ways. They got their mill producing successfully, and then they were granted a GA. I think you were also speaking about the fact that we do have a new forestry minister. I haven't met her yet, but they have recently made a decision to cut the GA, especially on pine. And I spoke to Jason Durant about this because Bill Kane Jr. has now just opening Rapide. He wants to do red pine, white pine. And he wanted to ask that a moratorium be placed on that so that they wouldn't be reduced. But Jason is very familiar with our landscape here, and he doesn't think it's a bad thing that they're cutting back on how much pine can be cut, because so much of it has disappeared and we have to give it a chance to grow back. Correct? Yeah. And I just wanted to add one other thing. For a GA, so the answer to Mr. Dion, he was concerned, what are we doing about Pontiac now that we're having some mills open? How are we going to get a GA? Yes, that's what he asked me, Bruno. And so again, it's very difficult to get a GA just on statistics on a piece of paper. You have to have a business plan. You have to have a mill in operation. And if it's not in operation, like Mr. Kane, for all the years that it was closed, 8 or 9 years, he continued to pay about $200,000 to protect his GA. That's why he never lost it. Yes?
Just maybe to add to the demand of Commonwealth was actually maybe asking a timeout so the new minister would be able to have maybe a better knowing of all the details before taking a decision. That was one of the items. And second of all, meeting them. So in that case, I think that was reasonable. I think I could say to appuyer to I think it was a reasonable thing to stand by as an MRC for sure.
Glad you explained that, and I need to meet her. We need to meet her, and we could certainly get her a meeting with Bill Kane and invite her to the opening. But I mean, he's gone through such an effort. He spent $1 million getting his mill in operation. It's a hard time to now find that what you needed to cut is being reduced. Okay, and perhaps I didn't understand all of Bruno's question.
Well, maybe to come back to what Mr. Dion asked as well. We know there's a lot of volume still available, especially for bois sans preneur, especially the hardwood, pulpwood. And it would be nice that if someday there would be something to be able to take those volumes and transform them here in the Pontiac. Well, it would be nice to reserve them here in priority in the Pontiac. And we know there's a lot of it. So I think that's where Monsieur Saint-Say wants to go, to make sure that these volumes don't be attributed to other mills outside the county. So in that case, I think it would be a good thing to ask the minister to have to reserve those amount of wood, since we have them. They're in this area, and so exactly. So for at least. So that would be at least a minimum.
The question of Mr. Dion was exactly for that. You know, there's a lot and a lot and a lot of wood available. Why not be before other people to say to the new minister that, hey, we are in the Pontiac and we have some mills and we have some industrial that could be interested to do something with. Could you please think about us? You know, just to make sure that in the next 5 years, we will have the opportunity to get some wood for somebody who can be interested for. It's only for that.
And we see it with the price, the price of fuel. We have to transport local, near the forest.
Yeah, what?
And I think, say, having even subsidies to haul wood way across the whole province of Quebec, I don't think it's the same sustainable thing at the long term.
The question
Sure,
of Gino.
it's a patch.
Mr. Saint-Cyr, I just want to reassure you that I did speak with Pierre Fitzgibbon about our model with Rapide, Davidson, and Javelco, all three working together, and that all the pulp and biomass, you have a cogen plan, everything can be transformed here to save on all of that transportation. And also, it doesn't look like Fortress is going to reopen. And he did say to me at one time, if Fortress doesn't reopen, I'm going to be looking at Davidson. So let's just get working on your business plan so that we can get your mill reopened. Okay, thank you. That's enough.
I spoke with the cabinet of Mr. Fitzgibbon, and they are waiting to get some wood for the Pontiac, and it comes from the new minister of the forest, you know. And it's for that reason, Gino asked to this council to send a letter to the new minister of forest just to make sure that please don't forget the Pontiac.
Okay, it's a good idea, and we still have time to do that tonight. We could make a resolution that simply welcomes the new minister and then says to her, as you may be aware, we have 2 mills that are about to reopen, and there's also the Davidson mill. And finally, after all of these years, 10 years or so, we would like wood reserved. How would that be? Okay, thank you very much. Right. Well, it's hard I'm sorry, just from what I know, it's hard to just reserve wood. It doesn't work. It doesn't just work that way. You don't just reserve wood. It has to be a GA. It has to be, they can't just reserve wood. Yes. Well, anyways, okay. Thank you very much. I think we all want the same thing. That's enough, Mr. Saint-Cyr. Please sit down. Please sit down. Okay, we're going on now. Any other questions in the room? No? Okay, we'll now go on to general administration. And we have a resolution authorizing the warden to sign a transaction. Could I have someone move that resolution? Moved by Mayor Colleen LaRiviere. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. 14.2, an appointment for the HR committee, a resolution. Kim Lesage, would you like to introduce it?
This is for the replacement of our dear friend Maurice Beauregard, who was sitting on the Human Resources Committee. C'est pour remplacer Maurice Beauregard, qui siégeait sur le comité de ressources humaines de la MRC Pontiac. Puis ce soir, we will be appointing Terry Lafleur to sit on this committee, if everybody agrees.
And you agree, Mr. Lafleur? All right. Moved by Mayor Donnie Gagnon. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Thank you. We go to assessment 14.3. Kim Lesage, the call for tenders, professional services for property inspections for assessment purpose.
La prochaine résolution, c'est suite à l'ouverture des soumissions pour le service professionnel en inspection des propriétés pour l'évaluation foncière de la MRC de Pontiac. So in October, we launched a public call for tender for inspections for our assessment department. The closing date was November 1st, and we had a selection committee that analyzed, and we are recommending to award the contract for professional services for property inspections for our assessment department to the company Expertise Immobilière MB. It would also be, as part of this resolution, to authorize myself to sign the agreement with Mrs. Jane Toller. And this agreement would be in effect for 3 years, 2023, 24, 25, with a renewal option for 2026 and 2027.
Okay. Could I have someone move the resolution? Moved by Pro Warden Sandra Armstrong. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. Thank you. Go on to 14.4, the bylaws. And we have the notice of motion and draft bylaw on the remuneration of the warden and members of council. Annie Biencourt.
Yes, so this is a notice of motion that has to be given tonight for the bylaw concerning the remuneration of the council, members of council and the warden. So there's nothing, I'm not going to present the bylaw tonight. It's just the notice of motion and it will be adopted next month.
Could I have someone present that? Marilyn Gagnon, thank you. 14.4.2, notice of motion and draft bylaw assemblies of the MRC Pontiac for the year 2023. Notice of motion, Kim.
Again, a notice of motion for the year 2023, and this is for the calendar of our council meetings. As we have it in the past year, it'll be on the third Wednesday evening of the month, except for November, that it's on the 4th to go along with budget.
Okay, would someone take carriage of that? Mayor Ed Walsh, okay, not all those in favor. Okay, 14.5, the FKIS project, food security, technology and family resolution, Kim Lesage.
Ceci est une résolution pour approuver une recommandation d'un projet de sécurité alimentaire, technologie et famille qui a été présenté par le table de développement social du Pontiac. So this next resolution is for a project that's been recommended for food security, technology, and family that was presented by the Table de Développement Social du Pontiac. It's for an amount of $65,555. That's the amount that's left over for funding for the Pontiac through the FKIS program, le Fonds québécois d'initiative sociale. So for this resolution, it would be to a collective consultation between these major organizations of the Table de Développement. So I think they're important to mention le Jardin éducatif, la Maison des Jeunes du Pontiac, Bouffe Pontiac, le Patro, la Comptoir Saint-Pierre, CPA Picaboo, and West Pontiac Connect. So this is to move forward to adopt the project of food security, technology, and family tabled by the TDSP and to adopt it at the CPO, which was done this week.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you so much. Resolution moved by Mayor Christine Francoeur. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. 14.6, the Trans-Colin Financement 2022 for funding, maintenance and improvement of interurban transportation services on Route 148. Resolution, Kim.
Ceci est une résolution pour approuver le financement. C'est pour 2022 avec la MTQ, de la façon que les projets sortent. On approuve le projet de 2022 vers la fin de l'année. C'est vraiment pour le maintien et la bonification du service de transport interurbain sur la 148. So this resolution is to approve the funding for 2022, which we've already have in place, but this is the way that it works with MTQ projects. And it's for the maintenance and improvement of our interurban transportation service on the 148 axis.
Okay, could I have someone move this resolution? Moved by Pro Warden Sandra Armstrong. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. 14.7, quality of service policy in adapted and collective transport, a resolution, Kim.
Transport Action provides some collective transportation services for us for the MRC Pontiac. And as part of being able to offer that, they have to have a policy for that's been adopted by the board of directors, excuse me. And this policy has to be approved by the Pontiac Table of Mayor. So this is, I'm just looking for the name of the policy, but it's on the quality of service anyways. And so this resolution will be to approve the policy that they're putting forward and to also allow myself to make sure that this policy is enforced and that we could make any changes to it following a consultation to the public users in 2020.
Excellent. Thank you. Who would like to move this resolution? Moved by Mayor Lynn Cameron. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 14.8, support for the municipality of Pontiac. It's an implementation of a family daycare. It's going to have about 51 places, and the mayor, Roger LaRose, called me and said that he hoped we could support this because there could be people from Pontiac who are driving each day to Ottawa or Aylmer and could make use of this daycare. So I thought we could certainly support it. Moved by Mayoress Colleen LaRiviere. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 14.9 was one that we've added. This is the Quittance Total. It's a full discharge mortgage deed. It was moved by, I need someone to move this, moved by Pro Warden Sandra Armstrong. Resolved that the warden, Ms. Jane Toller, be authorized to sign the deed prepared by Mireille Allery in a full discharge of a deed of mortgage published at the Bureau de la Publicité des Droits de la Circonscription Foncière de Pontiac, 25134795. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Go on to finances. Annie Vaillancourt.
Okay, so this is just for the regular monthly report. As of today, we have accounts receivables for $1,098,406.73. Of that, there's about 65,000 that are regular accounts receivables, and the rest are all our business loans that we have from our economic development department. Next, we have our list of accounts payables are $159,810.37. Just to mention, maybe larger invoices that were paid that are mainly our contracts that are paid on a monthly basis to the Coopérative d'Information Municipale, which is the FQM for our assessment department for our evaluator. We also have our current contract with our contracted inspectors. So we paid them a couple of invoices this month as well, and our contract with Relève Vival. And then the rest are just regular monthly bills that we pay. We also have a list of checks from in the last month. These total $835,230.96. Most of the time, the amounts that come out of here are our grants, and they come from resolutions that pass at council, and then we go on and ahead with the payments. So FRR grants, donations and sponsorships. We receive money from the MTQ that goes to either Transport Action, Transcolline. And then we have utility bills and et cetera that we pay on a monthly basis. And, the last for the month of October, so travel expenses for council was $1,606.71.
Are there any questions about Annie's financial report or any comments? Okay. Yes. Could I have someone move the resolution? Moved by Mayor Terry Lafleur. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Now we go on to 15.2, recommendations, COVID-19 financial aid, a resolution. Annie Vaillancourt.
Okay, so as usual, we have a list for our COVID fund, which comes to an end soon because we do have to spend the money before the end of the year. So for this month, we are recommending some IT equipment. So we do have a few computers to replace, battery backups, screens, just a bunch of list of equipment that we'd like to get, and so that we can buy it now and not have to use shares to pay for this stuff. So that's $32,000. We're also doing some work in our lower level here at the MRC, or the basement, to accommodate more office spaces. So we've got a couple of different quotes for the work that has to be done here for that. And that's $21,698.29. There's also the purchase of a laser level for the engineering department. So that's $2,139.65. There was also the next one, the bathrooms along the PPJ and the Campbell's Bay Park. That was already an expense that was to be planned to be spent here at the MRC for $40,000. So we're going to put it through this fund. We also need a new binding machine when we bind documents. Our old machine doesn't work anymore, so we're going to replace that. So that's $1,259.85. And the last one is work that has to be done just on the outside here of the building on our property. Some finishing work that has to be done, some protection concrete like pillars around our generator and diesel and propane tanks, and some finishing work as well on the concrete for the benches at the Cenepath. We also need topsoil to level the yard. So that is $15,249.43.
Okay, seeing none, could I have a resolution to approve it? Moved by Pro Warden Sandra Armstrong. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 15.3, signing authority for the Desjardins accounts. A resolution, Annie?
So this is a resolution to, well, basically we're adding Kim as the interim director general for signing authority for all of our banking. So signing checks or any documents related to our banking. So when we pass the resolution, we have to rename all of our people that are authorized to sign. So we have the warden, Jane Toller. So Kim Lesage as acting director general, Travis Ladouceur, who is the county clerk, and Jason Zera, director of land use and environment.
Any questions? Okay, moved by Mayor Donnie Gagnon. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 15.4. Accounts credit cards, Visa Desjardins, where we'll be closing Bernard Waugh and adding Kim Lesage. A resolution.
Yes, this is a resolution to request a credit card, MRC credit card in the name of Kim Lesage with a credit limit of $5,000. Which will replace the card that will be canceled that was in the name of Bernard Waugh.
Have someone moved by Mayor Doris Ranger. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 15.5 is resolution CM 2022-0919, clarification FRR Fund Stream 2. A resolution, and my name is beside this. Just, would you like me to read it out? Considering the adoption of resolution CM 2022-919 last September regarding the Hunting and Fishing Committee, considering the decision taken through this resolution concerning use of funds from the FRR Fund Stream 2, considering that clarifications are required regarding this use of funds from the FRR Fund Stream 2, it was moved by and resolved that the $15,000 granted with resolution CM 2022-0919 be taken from the residual FRR Volley 2 2021-2022. Is that it? Okay, moved by Mayor Corey Spence. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 15.6, the budget 2023. Annie Vinecourt is going to present a summary of this budget that we have worked very hard on.
Yes, well, as you all know, obviously, there's a lot of work behind a budget. And so I'm thankful to have all my colleagues who are a great help, and also this table of mayors who sharpened their pencils and did some great work to to try and make it reasonable. So I'll go over the summary with you guys, and then if you have any questions, we will try and answer them to our best knowledge. Maybe just to mention, first of all, is that the council and the warden have decided to keep their remuneration at the same as 2022. So the bylaw that will be adopted next month concerning that will be the exact same amounts in it as for the last year. As for the shares are calculated on the la valeur uniformisée, so of each municipality. And this year, there was the comparative factors were pretty high, which gave a high calculation of the shares because it is based on a rate that we have at the MRC. So by doing some cuts, et cetera, in the budget, we were able to bring the share rates down from 13.5 cents to 13.29. So it's a little bit of a decrease, even though the shares are higher than they were. The rate was brought down a bit. So total shares for budget 2023 are $4,152,104. So what I'll go through the revenues first. So that was for the shares. For the other local sources of revenues, we have services municipal services, which is mostly from the TNO, and that is $159,288. It's very close to the same amount as last year. We also have revenues that come from our license bureau that we have here in our office, $95,000, so a little bit more again from last year. The leases that we have here in the MRC do bring in a revenue. In our MRC budget, we only show a revenue and expense of the same amount because the leases have their own budget and we cannot put in a surplus or deficit for the leases in the MRC budget. So we put in a revenue of $523,335, but we also have the equivalent amount in our expenses. And part of the leases budget goes to TNO road maintenance. And then we have other revenues, which are $212,945. In there, we have like our engineer who does work for the municipalities. So there's revenues coming from there. Also bank interests and other small things. Then we go to all the grants that we receive, which are a large amount. There's one that is diversification of revenue that we get every year. It's roughly the same amount, $210,256. We also try and get grants for summer students or for training when we train some new employees. So we budgeted $7,000. Our SHQ is a $35,000. And we have all the grants to the management of territory. Mainly the biggest part of this amount is the PADF that is managed here by Jason and his team for the Outaouais. So that amount is $672,584. Then all the grants related to development. So those are your FRR volets. So there's a lot of money coming through there, and so it's not working. Okay. Kill the battery real quick. Too much talking. We also have Accès Entreprises Québec, which finances some of our staff here in economic development for the work that they do with our local businesses. So all the development grants total $3,007,947. A little bit of an increase from the year before. And like I mentioned, we receive grants that come through here from MTQ that go to Transcolline or Transport Action. So that is $328,600. We also apply every year for funding for the maintenance of our PPJ. So we're looking to get $100,000 for that. So the total revenue is $9,504 $4,059. What's new in the 2023 budget versus the last couple of years is that there is no appropriated surplus to balance the budget. So the revenues equal the expenses without having to appropriate surplus. So the second part is all of our expenses. We have an administration section. In there, we have all expenses related to council. So the remuneration, we always put a reserve for the elections, travel expenses, meal fees. So that is $350,076, pretty much the same as it was for 2022. In our gestion financière et administrative, it is $1,348,405. Main increase from the year before would be salary increases, small increases for like legal fees, gestion documentaire. Then we have other expenses of $22,000. The Bureau d'immatriculation, so our license bureau, the expense is $113,898, and most of that is for salaries. Engineering and infrastructure is $23,152, and that is just for like the functioning, so travel expenses and the equipment, software. Public security. Excuse, je commence à avoir la bouche sèche. Public security, we have 63,000. Again, this is for functioning of the department, $63,221. And the animal control, so that's with the SPCA, is $97,610. Assessment for next year is $1,247,918. So in here we have many contracts, like I mentioned before, the Levival, we have our inspections, lots of software, training, travel expenses. Then we have HR, professional or human resources, $776,957. In there we have, they're all salaries on our professional list. I'm just gonna grab my chair. Okay, so for that amount, there's compared to last year would be increase for salaries. We also added a fire prevention technician, and we're also going to hire a civil technician part-time for the big project on Alimet Island. For the environment department, again, just functioning expenses for traveling, training, professional services needed. That's $29,179. Aménagement et développement, so that's all your development and land planning. In here we have, so aménagement, so the land use department is $93,865. We've added in the budget for 2023 the translating of the schéma d'aménagement. Then you have géométrique, which is $43,825. Just a bit of an increase from last year as well. Les baux de villégiature, so the leases, which I mentioned in the revenues that we budget the same amount, it's just an in and out. And we've added some extra money for TNO roads. So that's $523,335. Strategic development. So that's $2,053,533. And in there, it's we have a strategic development fund that comes from shares, and the rest is mostly spending grant money. Réseau des sentiers, so maintaining all of our trails. We have the PPJ in there. We have some other trails, Oiseau Rock, also our waterway maintenance of our docks, and so that's $235,000 altogether. And we do have revenue from the MTQ for the PPJ, as mentioned earlier. Culture et patrimoine is $40,964. And that is, most of that is we get a grant from the Ministry of Culture for the Entente de Développement Culturel. So then we have to spend it. Transport is $605,039. So our grants coming in from MTQ that we transfer over to Transcolline and Transport d'Action, but there's also municipal contribution that is given from the MRC shares to both organizations. Special projects, $69,000. We've added an amount in there for the revision of our PDZA. Partnerships and development is $701,955, which is the exact same amount as last year. That's where we have the expense for the PADF projects, and tourism marketing, which is $75,000 expense. Development is for the development department here. So the staff and all of the expenses, again, for training, travel expenses. So that's $885,140. And of course, just to mention that this department is the one that is most funded by grants to cover salaries. There's probably about 75% of their salaries that are covered by grants. We've added the vitalization agent who looks after the FRR Volet Cat. And we've also added another project that is coming through the FRR Volet R, I believe, for a housing project. Then there's overhead expenses for development that are $41,296. SHQ, there's a revenue of $35,000. The expense is $31,500. And then in other expenses, $7,200. The last couple of things are our financing. We have long-term financing for the building renovations that were done here. So we pay on that every year. That's $69,990 for capital and interest payments on the loan. And then we have capital expenses for any work that we do here on either work on the building or for buying a vehicle or whatever. In this case, we've only budgeted $30,000 for either work that needs to be done on the building or some IT equipment that may need to be purchased. We've already done a lot of work in the past few years, so we kept this amount much lower for 2023. So that gives you total expenses of $9,504,059, which matches exactly with the revenue. So the budget is balanced, and again, without appropriation of surplus.
Thank you for. Are there any questions on the budget? Any comments? Thank you, everybody, for hard work this year on this. And considering we are in tough economic times and, rumors of recession, et cetera, we've done our best to lighten the burden on taxpayers. We will now go on to, so thank you very much, Annie. Great job. Yes, so we're going to now have a resolution to vote on this budget, moved by Maris. Yeah. I was just congratulating you all on such a great budget, and then nobody wants to be the one to move it. Okay, well, Colleen's the brave one. Colleen LaRiviere. All those in favor, opposed, and that's unanimous. 15.6.2, adoption bylaw 283-2022, expenses and revenues of the Pontiac MRC 2023, a resolution. Do you need to add anything, Annie, to this? The bylaw, exactly. Okay, yes, for the budget. Moved by Mayor Ed Walsh. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. 16.1. Oh, and just for the knowledge of the public, we are demanded actually by the provincial government to approve the budget tonight. It had to be done on November 23rd. So it's a relief to have done that. 16.1, recommendations, donations, and sponsors, Kim Lesage. So first of all, 16.1.1.
So right now we're going to go through the economic development recommendations for the donations and sponsorship. Les prochaines résolutions, c'est pour des dons et commandites suite à des recommandations par le département du développement économique. So the first one is for the Club d'Âge de Bryson, the Bryson Golden Age Club. The project is a purchase of advertising items to identify themselves during various meetings or outings among their organizations. So they're looking at buying some pins and identification magnets. So the recommendation from the Economic Development Department would be to award a donation of $75 to the Bryson Golden Age Club. I would like to mention, and this goes for all of them, we're at the end of the year and our funds are we're getting to the end of our fund for the year. So none of these OBNLs, I guess, received really what they were asking for, but we tried to divide it up fairly amongst the groups. Thank you. So a first resolution.
Moved by Mayor Terry LaFleur. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. 16.1.2, George Bryson Heritage House, the Christmas Market.
So La Maison Culturelle George Bryson, as Mayor Armstrong mentioned earlier. So this is a request to have a donation for their Christmas market. And it was recommended to give a donation of $160 to the George Bryson Heritage House for that.
Okay, moved by Mayor Alain Gagnon. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. 16.1.3, Pontiac Lions Club, advertising in the community calendar.
The Pontiac Lions Club have asked us for a donation for the purchase of an advertising space on their community calendar. This calendar is produced annually. The Pontiac Lions Club here in Campbell's Bay, it's one of their biggest fundraising events. So the recommendation from the department is to donate $75 to their for the contribution of their annual fundraising.
Okay, this resolution is moved by Mayor Ed Walsh. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. 16.1.4, Chapeau Young at Heart Seniors Christmas Celebration. Kim.
Jeunes de Cœur de Chapeau, the seniors Christmas celebration for the Chapeau Young at Hearts Club. And this project is an annual Christmas dinner and entertainment. It's hot turkey or roast beef and storytelling with music. And they're also partnering with Transport Action to be able to pick up anybody or to have some meals brought in. So we're recommending, again, it's a Christmas, like a Christmas event. So we're recommending a donation of $160 to be granted to the Chapeau Young at Heart.
Okay, thanks, Kim. Moved by Mayor Donnie Gagnon. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. That you tell us. December 7th. We're all going to be there. Yeah, Guillaume's going. 16.1.5, funding sports and recreation, Pontiac High School, resolution, Kim.
And this is the last but not least, a request for funding for sports and recreation for the Pontiac High School. We received a request to support a regional Outaouais inter-school hockey tournament that's being hosted in Shawville. So a really good event, and it's per our vision that we would like to take initiatives in the community. And then we are recommending to give them a $1,000 sponsorship from the sports and recreation budget to the Pontiac High School.
Thank you. And moved by the Mayor of Shawville, Bill McCleary. All those in favor, opposed, carries. I had no choice. As soon as he heard it was $1,000, his hand was out like this. 16.2 is the appointment of members for the committees for the FRR3. Kim?
As part of the FRR3, we had to appoint a committee, a committee of direction, a committee de direction, and we had 60 days from the day that we signed this agreement, and that is the end of November. So we received some names that we'd like to propose tonight for this committee. David Cyr of the Economic Development, Warden Toller of the MRC, Stéphane Labine of la Caisse des Jardins, Karim Elshkirch from Le Carrefour Jeunesse Emploi, Jessica Forg of the Pontiac Chamber of Commerce, and then two representatives, one of the MAMASH, one of the MEI, and finally Rhonda Perry of the SADC. So we're recommending these people for appointing of the steering committee so that we can ensure the implementation of the this agreement for Volet 3.
And Volet 3 is the signature innovation for the entrepreneurial. Before Cindy Phillips left, remember, she felt that the greatest effort for us for a signature innovation, instead of saying agriculture or forestry, would be entrepreneurship, which I think we all agree There's a lot of it already going on, but more and more people moving here, starting businesses. So this will be great. And I think it's an amount of 1.2 million that the provincial government has given us for that. Excellent. Okay. So now we go on to public safety. 17, pardon me. Yes, I needed a resolution for that. Too busy talking. Moved by Mayor Terry Lafleur for all for reminding me. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. Public safety 17.1. Amendment for resolution CM 2022-0523, change of signatory to the contract with Bell 911 service. Kim? Okay, could someone move this resolution? Moved by Mayor Brent Orr. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. 17.2, revision of the fire safety cover plan, hiring of an additional fire prevention officer. Kim, did you need to add something?
Sure. So as we're revising our fire safety cover plan with all of our different municipalities, considering that there's a high amount of inspections that we have to plan annually for higher risk buildings, and we must now set up a specific program for inspections of agricultural buildings. So considering this, we would need to, and then this is a recommendation from the CSI committee, is to hire an additional resource in fire prevention at the MRC for 2023.
Okay. Moved by Marilyn Cameron. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. 17.3, the revision of the fire safety cover plan mapping for municipal fire departments. Kim?
This one again, which comes from the revision of our fire safety cover plan. It would be for the acquisition of software, a license or a service contract to produce a map in relation to the requirements of the firefighting strike force for all our fire safety services on the territory. So considering that we are revising our fire safety cover plan right now, and the importance of reaching a minimum strike force in order to benefit from the exoneration of responsibilities as per the Fire Safety Act, we're recommending, or the CSI committee was recommended, that we produce a map that would provide some information on the actual strike force for all the different fire departments of the territory.
Okay. And could I have someone move this resolution? Moved by Mayor Ed Walsh. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. Go on to 17.4, revision of the fire safety cover plan, writing and adoption of programs that are an INTE. Kim?
And a final recommendation from the CSI committee that comes from the revision of our fire safety cover plan is that this plan refers to some operating programs that all the municipalities and the MRC must have written down or must abide to. A lot of these programs are not written down, and we think that it's important to do that before we lose some of the resources that know what we're supposed to be doing for this. So it'd be to adopt by resolution to the municipal council of these programs, and also that the programs that are prepared with the municipalities, with the fire services, be sent to the MRC within a reasonable period of time to be adopted within our fire safety cover plan.
Okay, any questions? I have someone move this resolution. Moved by Mayor Corey Spence. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. We go on to management of territory, 18.1, and approval of Campbell's Bay bylaw. I just had a question for Raymond Pilon. Raymond, today did I see that Campbell's Bay received a nomination or an award from Sport Loisir? Could you tell us about that?
Yes, basically we were nominated by the organization in Gatineau. That's right. And so we're having this event, and basically it's called Le Prix David 2022. We're being nominated, so we'll find out of the results. Yeah, the new park that this is to regards to the disability swing we put there for the accessibility. So
Felicitation. We hope that you win. All right, Alex, you would like to introduce this, please? The approval of Campbell's Bay bylaw.
Donc, 18.1, approbation du règlement de modification du zonage de Campbell's Bay. So 18.1, approval of a zoning bylaw change for Campbell's Bay. It regards adding a higher density in a specific zone in the core of the village. Donc, autoriser des usages un peu plus denses résidentiels dans le centre du village de Campbell's Bay.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on that? Could we have someone move the resolution? Moved by Mayor Christine Francoeur. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 18.2. This is the approval of Mansfield Pontefract bylaw, a resolution. Alex?
Et donc, approbation du règlement 2022-008 de Mansfield Pontefract. Donc, c'est comme on a mentionné tout à l'heure, c'est un règlement qui vise à permettre les projets spéciaux dans 5 zones. Je peux les mentionner. Donc, les zones de zonage 33 RC, 35 RC, 45 RC, 46 RC et 57 AG. So it's basically zoning bylaw change to allow specific projects in some specific zones of the municipality of Mansfield Pontefract. These zones are mentioned in the bylaw, and they are 33 RC, 35 RC, 45 RC, 46 RC, and 57 AG. Voilà.
Any comments or questions? Okay, could I have someone move this resolution? Moved by Mayor Corey Spence. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 18.3, request for the CPTAQ for Leolos Alumet miscellaneous land, a resolution. This is Alex again.
Donc, ici, c'est une résolution d'appui pour présenter à la CPTAQ pour que la municipalité de l'Île-aux-Alumettes puisse vendre des terrains. Donc, par le processus de la loi, certains de leurs terrains sont collés à des chemins publics. Alors, en vertu de la loi agricole, la municipalité doit demander pour vendre ses terrains. So, basically, it's a request to the Quebec Agricultural Management Board, donc what we call CPTAQ. Basically, the municipality wants to sell some lots that the municipality owns to potential new landowners. However, since some lots are contiguous to public roads, according to the Quebec Agricultural Act, they need an approval from CPTQ for that. It's kind of strange, but that's the way it is. And therefore, we are asking a resolution from council tonight for the municipality to proceed.
Okay, any comments or questions? Could someone move this resolution, please? Moved by Pro Warden Sandra Armstrong. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 18.4, a request for the CPTAQ, Litchfield Campbell's Bay Fire Hall. Alex?
Donc, une autre demande à la CPTAQ. Ici, c'est pour autoriser un projet de nouvelle caserne d'incendie pour Litchfield et Campbell's Bay. Le site proposé serait actuellement sur le terrain de l'hôtel de ville de Litchfield. So basically, this is another CPTAQ request to allow for a construction of a new fire station and a truck shelter. These would be located on the Litchfield Municipality Town Hall property on the 148.
Okay, any comments or questions? Moved by Mayor Carl Mayer. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 18.5, the renewal of the territories that are incompatible with mining activities. A resolution. Is this Jason or Alex? Okay.
He's next. But, donc, ça, c'est une résolution. On passe ça à peu près aux 6 mois au conseil de la MRC, donc en mai et novembre. So it's basically a resolution that we have to suggest to adopt twice a year, so end of May and end of November, basically to renew our what we call areas inconsistent with mining, donc les territoires incompatibles aux activités minières. Alors, il y a une cartographie là, qui est associée à ça. Alors, on demande au gouvernement du Québec de reconduire encore pour 6 mois là, cette suspension, le temps aussi de préparer notre nouveau schéma. Alors, it's basically to have a temporary suspension while we are doing the revision of the master plan. This is according to Quebec law, again, a new power that we have since a couple of years now.
Any comments or questions? Someone like to move this resolution? Moved by Mayor Terry LaFleur. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 18.6, funding project for guides on the management and restoration of Quebec waterways. Jason Durant.
Thank you, Jane. Hi, everybody. Good evening. Bonsoir tout le monde. First of all, I just wanted to maybe come back to Monsieur Saint-Cyr. Unfortunately, I think he left, mais pour revenir aussi à Monsieur Dion, parce que j'ai parlé personnellement en lien avec une résolution, c'est vrai qu'on voulait faire auprès de la nouvelle ministre du ministère des Forêts. Donc, pour justement pas oublier le Pontiac. Donc, évidemment, on va faire une bonne résolution, on va prendre notre temps, on va utiliser les bons termes, we'll write the right wording, and we'll think of having something very nice for the minister. And for sure, we can do reference to the opening of Rapid, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Why not? So we have a great region to show her, especially in Rapid. We could start off right there with the opening of the mill, actually. So again, we have Farin Lefebvre that would like to have some pine from public land. We have Jovalco that could actually have a potential of having supply of wood that nobody's there to have it when it comes to hardwood, pulpwood.
Yes, they're going to be making pallets, and they can use softwood and hardwood, but they will use the 2nd and 3rd degree wood. You're right.
Exactly. So there's full of potential. Again, I do believe that we still have a role in forestry in the Pontiac, and that's going to be the goal of this resolution for sure. So we'll have it ready for next month, definitely. To come back to this point there, Jane, je vais commencer en français. Donc, l'Association des gestionnaires régionaux des cours d'eau du Québec sollicite un soutien financier de 750 $ par MRC pour le montage financier de 2 projets. Donc, la mise à jour du guide sur la gestion des cours d'eau du Québec et la création du nouveau guide technique de restauration et méthodes alternatives à l'entretien des cours d'eau. So, in English, the Association of Watercourse Managers of Quebec is requesting $750 per MRC for the funding of 2 projects, which is the update of the Quebec Watercourse Management Guide and the creation of a new technical guide for restoration. So as you know, as MRC being now have the responsibility of watercourse, I think it's definitely a must there. So to have these technical guides, these guides for $750, I think it's a must. So in other words, resolution to go ahead with this, definitely. Donc, résolution, s'il vous plaît, pour aller de l'avant avec ces 2 documents pour un montant de 750 $. Je sais pas s'il y avait...
Could I have someone move this resolution? Moved by your hands up all the time. Good for you, Ed. Moved by Ed Walsh. Moved by Ed Walsh. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. All right. Now we go to 18.7. Proposed potential changes to selected 2021, 2022, and 2022-2023 PADF projects. Jason.
Yes, I'll try to go quick and brief here for everybody. Again, just to make quick, as you know, MRC Pontiac has 2 annual budget for targeted activities. There's a budget of $142,000. we decided, actually, we had two budget in 1 year. So because there's a delay of 1 year. So this year we had 2 years of budget. And we had reserved $50,000 for the wood board, the Pontiac wood board. Unfortunately, the wood board, their lack of employees, so they won't be able to at this point to be able to spend this money. So it was proposed that have the groupement to take half of it, $25,000, and actually that would be still compatible with the PADF, and mostly of that would be to promote to have new woodlot owners having management plans and everything that comes with it. Donc, en gros, c'est de prendre, il y avait 50 000 de réservés pour l'Office des producteurs de bois. Malheureusement, faute de main-d'œuvre, de staff, ne pourront pas nécessairement aller de l'avant avec le projet pour l'entièreté de cet argent-là qui était disponible. Donc, pour ça, le groupement s'est offert de dépenser 25 000 dans le but là, de faire la promotion, faire du recrutement au niveau des plans d'aménagement, puis tout ce qui vient avec ce côté-là. Donc, résolution là, pour justement la distribution de la somme d'argent de PADF, le fameux, dans le fond, 25 000 qui est retranché de l'Office pour aller au groupement forestier du Pontiac.
Excellent. Thank you. Any comments or questions? And who would like to move this resolution? Moved by Mayor Ed McCleary. Oh, I couldn't get through the night without that one. If you, I have a little bit of a problem, and that is that I always want to call him Ed McCleary and what is it? I call it's Clarendon and Shawville, and even though they're at opposite ends of the room, I want to call Bill McCleary Ed. Anyways, it's Bill McCleary moving this resolution. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Obviously, I've got a problem. 18.8, appointment of a member to the Multi-Resource Committee, resolution, Jason Durant.
Yes, thank you again, Jane. As you know, we have a vacant seat when it comes to the TPI Multi-Resource Committee. And at the plenary, we had the Mayor Ranger that actually submitted her comment je pourrais dire, elle a voulu assister au comité. Donc, bienvenue, Doris, au comité multiressources. Donc, une résolution, a resolution, please, for Mayor Ranger, please, for being on the committee. Yes, oui, question, Sandra? Oh, désolé.
You want to move this, Sandra? And I want to say, Doris, welcome to Multi-Resource. It'll be great to have you there. All right, moved by Pro Warden Sandra Armstrong. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 18.9, authorization to represent the MRC Pontiac at the Tabgir. Resolution, Jason.
Yes, again, the MRC has a seat at the Tabgir, and actually this mandate is terminated. So in other words, there's the possibility of being on the table for another 3 years. Donc, je siégeais à titre là, de la MRC, représentant la MRC pour le secteur territoire sur la Tabgir de l'Outaouais. Donc, le mandat se termine. Par contre, il y a la possibilité de siéger pour un autre 3 ans sur cette table-là. Donc, résolution dans le but de continuer le travail de représentant de la MRC sur la Tabgir.
For you to continue. Excellent. Okay, moved by Mayor Odie Godin. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 18.10, MRC Pontiac, Resort Development on Public Land, MRC Pontiac, Jason Durant.
Thank you, Jane. Donc, effectivement, le MNRF est présentement dans le processus de reviser son plan régional de développement du territoire public, donc communément appelé le PRDTP. So MNRF is currently in the process of revising the public land development plan. As well, it revised its new guide for development of resort lease. Donc, en plus, il a révisé son guide de développement de la villégiature forêt publique. Donc, afin de demeurer, quand même, aussi demeure un acteur premier dans le processus de décision et de planification du développement de son territoire. Donc, in order to remain a key player in the decision making, the MRC will make recommendation regarding this development guide, and as well will create a subcommittee of mayors in order to get involved and contribute to the revision of this PRDTP. Sorry. Donc, en gros, dans le fond, c'est, comme je disais, étant donné, non, excusez-moi, dans le fond, c'est d'en revenir et d'avoir un comité de maires pour travailler sur d'avoir dans le fond, son mot à dire dans le plan, puis avoir un impact sur le plan de développement, le PRDTP, puis en même temps aussi d'émettre nos commentaires sur le guide du développement de la villégiature qui a quand même pour avoir un impact sur le territoire. Donc, merci. Sorry, thank you.
Jason brought this concern to me, and I know that we all agree that we would not just want the MERN, the Ministry of Natural Resources, deciding who was going to be getting leases and opening up parts of our Crown land, and to ensure, as we were talking about before, that the intensification be controlled, and that we do not have like a haphazard development of our Crown land up in the TNO. So in this way, we're in the driver's seat, and we will, do we need members of the council now to volunteer to be on the committee? People that might be interested, we could ask, eh? We already had a couple of names. That's correct. Perfect. Yeah, we already have a list. Perfect. Okay, so this is a resolution. Who would like to move this? Moved by Mayor Terry LaFleur. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. Thank you, Jason. And so now we come to miscellaneous, and I'm really proud of this. 19.1, we had sent a resolution asking the Minister of the Environment to allow waste to come from Ontario to Quebec because we believe that landfill is no longer acceptable, and that there is a better way to take waste and treat it as a resource and turn it into energy. And I guess we sent copies to all the wardens, and the warden of Des-Colin has written back to us supporting unanimously our resolution. And that's because they're also looking for a waste management solution. And it's interesting because it was moved by Mayor Roger LaRose, who you know is the mayor of the municipality of Pontiac, who also hopes to have their municipality join our MRC. So I just, it's just here for information, but it's very nice when another region supports something that's important to us. And finally, before we end the meeting, just a reminder, it's November and it's time to begin that famous committee called the Flood Prevention Task Force. Because at this time of year, we want to make sure that all the reservoirs are as low as possible. So Travis and Natasha and I will be sending out a reminder to all of the previous members who basically were in municipalities that were affected by the flooding before. And hopefully you would all like to serve again. It's only usually 4 or 5 meetings. What we do is we keep an eye on all of the people that are handling the Ottawa River, and we finish in March or April when we know that we don't need to worry anymore. And secondly, some other good news, we are going to be relaunching our MRC Youth Council. I would ask each of you to think about any students in your municipalities who are age 14 and up who might be willing to serve on our MRC Youth Council. We'd like to get started definitely in January and have all the names by December. So without further ado, unless anyone else would like to tell a joke or no, just yes, Corey, another announcement? Yes. Yes, exactly. I will, and I'll outline, you know, what the council will be doing. And actually, I wanted to say that Andre Fortin very generously gave $1,000 to the Youth Council before, but with COVID coming and everything, it was never used. So, I mean, we have that for the Youth Council to use. And I just think it's a great way. I find that the kids that were on the former Youth Council have all ended up doing very interesting things. You know, it was good experience for all of them. Okay. I know who would like to move adjournment of this meeting, and it's actually Mayor Brent Orr. Although, he didn't even have to put his hand up. I could just tell by the expression on his face. Could we have a vote on this, please? All those in favor of, and it's unanimous. Thank you, everybody. Oh, Raymond. Thank you very much.